and welcome back to this week's episode of Lenape Live.
This is what the student crew members get to do every week with their show, Lenape Live, that is aired throughout the school. The live broadcast is filled with fun segments, weekly announcements, and school information for students. However, things were operated very differently when the COVID-19 pandemic hit in March of 2020. The production of the show came to a stop, like many things during that difficult time. Despite the production of 2 remote episodes to finish the school year, the format of the show was far different than what was usually produced live. Mr. Ebbison is the Lenape Digital Media Advisor. He advises the show and makes sure everything goes accordingly. During the height of the pandemic, Mr. Ebbison worked to develop a creative way to run the show with a different approach, since some students came to school in person, while others participated virtually from home.
So to run Lenape Live during the pandemic was really challenging. We had the year of 2020 to 2021 where half of our population at any given time was at home due to our hybrid cohort schedule. And we wanted to make sure all students could participate if they wanted to, but also make sure that all students in the school could watch our show. To do it in the studio in our traditional setting was really, really impossible because we didn't have enough crew members and we wouldn't be able to make sure that students at home could watch. So what we ended up doing is producing the show entirely in advance. Basically, we would have our student hosts that would record their sections of the show at home, and then another student would actually edit the show together, and it would be done by Thursday, and we would be able to show that recorded episode in our building on Friday mornings, but also post it to YouTube at the same time so that everybody at home could watch as well.
Student hosts recorded themselves on their computer, then the show would be edited by a student crew member on their own time. Editing was more difficult as students had to use a less powerful software that was more compatible with their school Chromebooks. After each week's episode was completed, it was shared with Mr. Ebbison to be aired at the school and uploaded to YouTube for students and staff to watch from home. Bella Cow is a reoccurring host of the show, and if she's not on camera, she's often found somewhere behind the scenes. She hosted the first episode of the new modified show format.
Things that are similar between Lenape Live in the pandemic and Lenape Live today is that the hosts still write their scripts together, and so when they read it, it's like they're actually having a conversation with each other, even if they might not have been in the same room together during the pandemic. You also still make pre-recorded segments. So even though it was harder during the pandemic to actually get footage, people were still able to create segments and then they would air on the Lenape Live episode. Things that are different though, obviously when we're in person, it's live. So if you make a mistake, you have to keep going. You can't just stop and start over, as opposed to in the pandemic, we would take as many shots as possible to get that perfect shot, and then it would all get edited together, and then that's what viewers would see in the episode.
Though the crew was proud of the hard work they put into the production during a challenging time, they were all excited to be back live in the studio and start to operate the way Lenape Live usually runs.